bring you my new One Piece episode review. This week was episode 738. It is a continuation of what happened last week with all of the Sabo stuff, his backstory after what happened when his boat got shot down. So let me just say, these episodes are improving. Even though this is filler, it's expanding upon what happened in the manga. And I wouldn't actually consider this filler because Oda was working on this with the animation team, or whatever you want to call them, Toei. And yeah, so this is actual canon stuff. They turned one chapter in the manga into around 2 episodes. And these episodes are very interesting. You know, of course we got more Sabo, more Dragon, more Koala, more Hack. Well, there's nothing wrong with these. I enjoyed these episodes so much, and I wish there was more of them. Like maybe, I don't know, like a 10 episode arc. That would be great. Yeah, so anyways. Basically, the episode starts off with Sabo sitting on a boat. It's one of the revolutionaries' boats, and they're going back to Baltigo, which is where the revolutionaries' headquarters is located. And, he's staring out onto the ocean, right? And then he sees, like, silhouettes of Luffy and Ace, but he still doesn't remember who they are. They both turn around and they say Sabo. Yeah, and then he was thinking, and then Koala comes and interrupts him, asking if he's okay and all of that. So yeah, once they get back to the revolutionaries' headquarters, he goes in to make the report to Dragon about whatever mission they were just on. And, they go in, and then they hear the revolutionaries talking about how the war has ended, how, Whitebeard lost the war, and how the deaths in the war, well, the major deaths, were Whitebeard and Ace. Almost as soon as Sabo heard that, he started breaking down. Like, this was insane. I felt so bad for him. Like, I was worried. It was insane. Like, there's so much emotion brilliantly conveyed into what just happened. The revolutionaries, they kept talking about how brutal Ace's death was and how he got punched through the chest by Akainu. And this is making Sabo's case worse. He's crying. I'm pretty sure the thumbnail of this video will be Sabo. That's what his face was when he first heard Ace died. And after that, he started breaking down. It was ridiculous. Like, I don't think there's been, like, something, like a character learning of another character's death that hit me that hard. Like, Luffy almost hit me that hard in the feels. But Sabo, man, imagine all the pain that he must have felt, because, like, if he just regained his memory sooner, he could have stopped it. He is more powerful than Ace at this point. At least that's what people have speculated. He could have gone in and protected them. But no, he regains his memories as soon as Ace died. He imagines how Luffy must have felt. And, yeah. So he goes to the flashback, like, when they were kids. And this soundtrack during this scene is amazing. Like, it's more of a sad toned one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, a lot of things happen in this episode, so I actually had to make notes. Like, this quote unquote filler, expanding upon what happened in the manga, is just brilliant. I wish I would do this more often. So entertaining, so amazing. Like, the manga didn't nearly have this much content in it. I read the chapter, and I can say that the manga readers didn't get nearly as much as we anime watchers did. And it was completely satisfying what we got in the anime. It wasn't slow-paced at all. It was fast-paced. It was well-paced. More like the beginning of One Piece paced, not after the New World. I'm just so happy. After the flashback happens, when they're kids, it gets worse. Breaks down even more, and I'm just so sad for him. It almost made me cry. Like, the soundtrack during this, everything. So basically, after he has a breakdown, he faints. And, wakes up 3 days later. That emotional breakdown that he had, caused him to faint for 3 days. He wakes up to Koala and Hack sitting over him, and Koala is like crying, saying how she thought that he was dead. And I really love Koala. She's actually one of my favorite characters. I wish we could see more of her. I hope more of her comes. Like, we get her backstory, we get everything about her later on. I'm an anime-only watcher, so I'm not sure exactly what happens in the manga if she comes back in the Zou arc. But I really hope she does. And, so when he wakes up, he says he has to go talk to Dragon. But we never really see that, because after he says that, we skip back to, like, the present time, when Sabo isn't telling the story. We get some comedy scenes. They aren't really worth mentioning. They were pretty funny, I'll have to admit. I love One Piece comedy. So then we go back to Sabo's story, because Frankie, you know how he gets all emotional during these stories. He says go back and stop interrupting Zoro, because Zoro was upset about all the booze being drinking. So when we get back, we see pretty much episode of Sabo stuff for the next few minutes. Wasn't directly like right from there, but reanimated and expanded upon. So we go see him going to Whitebeard and Ace's grave. That was pretty cool. It was like almost exactly the same as episode of Sabo from what I remember. Then we go to the reunion. This version of the reunion was just as touching as it was in the original episode, if not more. It was way longer. I would say it's about 3 minutes. It wasn't slow paced. It was brilliant, and like it was funny, touching, and a bunch of other emotions just at the same time. I don't know. This episode was done so greatly. The pacing, everything about it. This is actually like probably one of my favorite One Piece episodes of all time. I get to see my favorite characters, like Sabo and Dragon. All the revolutionaries, man. I love all of the revolutionaries. So, after that reunion, so we go back to the present. That's all we see of Sabo's backstory. Well, what happened after we all thought he was dead. Sabo leaves, and before he leaves, he gives Zoro the Vivre card. And he says exactly what Ace said when Ace gave Luffy the Vivre card. So that was a very nice touch. I forget what he said, but I thought that was pretty great. After that happens, we go to Fujitora with a bunch of other Marines. He has a die under like a cup. He probably like shook it or something to see what number he was gonna pull. He pulled a 1, which basically meant that if he pulled a 1, then they wouldn't go and arrest Luffy tonight. And you know, Fujitora, being the master at gambling that he is, he pulled a 1. He was on Luffy's side, of course. He knows who is right and who is wrong. Luffy was the Dressrosa's savior. He deserves to make it out of there peacefully. We go to the Royal Palace. We see all the members that were involved in Dressrosa. Bartolomeo, Cavendish, you know, all those guys. They were all sleeping, like we saw them going to bed in the last episode. Cavendish is locked up because his alter ego that happens when he sleeps, the one that's like all savage. I forget his name. I don't know why I forget his name, but yeah, he's like locked up in the chains that Bartolomeo put him in last episode. We then cut to King Riku and Rebecca. You know, Rebecca saying how she can't find Luffy. He's not in the palace anywhere. King Riku says that he knows where he is. He's with, yeah, in the house, Gyat's house. Not much happens in like the remaining time that they're talking. That's pretty much all that they say, actually. After that, we cut to Sabo riding on like a pitch black bird, like literally no details. It's just all black, and he's basically saying how when they get back to Bartigo, I'm pretty sure the island's name is Baltigo. That was it. And he's gonna tell Dragon all about Luffy, all of his moments with Luffy that he experienced in Dressrosa. And, you know, this moment just made me realize how great of an arc Dressrosa was. This may be an unpopular opinion, but this one moment, they all reflecting on Dressrosa, Sabo, makes me remember all the amazing moments that happened with Sabo and Luffy, all the things that happened in Dressrosa. It was just top tier quality storytelling. And so basically sum up this episode, I loved it. I actually rated it 10 out of 10. The animation was One Piece animation. The pacing was not One Piece pacing. It was like amazing. I can't even get over how good the pacing was. Like, so much happened in this episode. So much. It may not sound like much happened in this episode, but this is an 11-minute review. I seriously doubt a single person will make it through this whole review. Now let's get to the preview. This preview. I've never been this hyped for a One Piece episode in ages. Next episode, we finally get all the characters, Brook, Sanji, Nami, Chopper, all the rest of the Straw Hats. They're coming back next episode. We get to see them next episode. That's not the only thing we see next episode. Let me just keep going about the Straw Hats. It's been so long since we've seen Chopper, Nami, Sanji, and Brook. I'm just so hyped for next week's episode. I'm going to be doing a review the second that I finish that episode, like I did for this one. I really hope the pacing is just as good as it has been for the last 2 episodes. I mean, we are very close to the manga right now. I'm pretty sure 30 chapters away was the last before this filler happened. Well, quote unquote filler, not really filler. Just the other people that we see in the preview, we finally get to see Kaido in the anime, and he looks fantastic. I just absolutely can't wait for this next arc. I heard Zoe isn't that great, but with all the events that are happening in the most recent chapters of the manga, it's just, I'm so hyped for the events about to come. I can't even put it into words. We also see some supernovas. I'm pretty sure we see Hawkins and Scratchman Apu, and I can't wait to see more of them next episode. And just overall, One Piece, the last few episodes have been amazing. Next episode, I'm pretty sure is this the last episode in Dressrosa? I don't know. It might be. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you consider the next episode Dressrosa, because we see Kaido. Yeah, I think it's the last episode of Dressrosa. Pretty happy about that. Dressrosa has been over 100 episodes, but it has been an amazing arc. Fantastic. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this 13-minute review. If a single soul made it through this whole video, I congratulate you. I'm just personally shocked. I wouldn't have made it through this whole review. But, you know, I enjoy doing them. That's all that matters. Please leave a like, comment, and finally subscribe. You know, the generic YouTuber outro. Yeah, alright. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.